Most people think about life insurance as a product. What they often miss is the strategy behind it, how it fits into a larger financial plan, and the decisions that determine whether it actually works when you need it. I'm Idris Adelabu, CPA. I work with individuals and business owners on integrated financial planning, tax, retirement, estate, and insurance altogether. Today, I want to talk about something that most people set once and never revisit: the beneficiary designation on a life insurance policy. It is one of the most consequential decisions you make when you buy coverage, and one of the most common sources of unintended outcomes when people die. Your beneficiary designation determines who actually receives your life insurance death benefit, not your will, not your verbal wishes. The beneficiary named on the policy form. If that form is outdated, incorrect, or missing key details, the wrong person may receive the money, or the money may end up in your estate and subject to probate and creditors. When you purchase a life insurance policy, you designate one or more beneficiaries, the individuals or entities who will receive the death benefit when you pass away. You can name a primary beneficiary who receives the benefit first, and one or more contingent beneficiaries who receive it if the primary beneficiary has already died. In most Canadian provinces, a beneficiary designation made directly on a life insurance policy takes legal precedence over anything stated in your will. The insurance company pays the named beneficiary, period, regardless of what your will says. This is a feature, not a bug. It allows proceeds to bypass the estate entirely, avoiding probate and creditor claims. But it only works correctly if the designation is accurate and current. Here are the 5 mistakes I see most often. Naming a minor child as beneficiary. Insurance companies cannot pay directly to a minor. If you name a child under 18 as beneficiary, the proceeds will be paid to the provincial public trustee until the child reaches the age of majority, at which point the entire lump sum is released to them at once, with no supervision. A trust or a named trustee is the correct solution. Naming your estate as beneficiary. This routes the death benefit through your estate, exposing it to probate fees, estate creditors, and delays. Unless there is a specific reason to route proceeds through the estate, a named individual or trust is almost always better. Forgetting to update after a life event, divorce, remarriage, the birth of a child, or the death of a beneficiary, any of these can make a beneficiary designation incorrect or legally problematic. In most provinces, a divorce does not automatically revoke a beneficiary designation. Your ex-spouse may still be entitled to the proceeds if you never updated the form, naming only one beneficiary with no contingent. If your sole beneficiary predeceases you and you have named no contingent, the proceeds default to your estate, triggering exactly the probate and creditor exposure you were trying to avoid. Being too vague in the designation, writing "my children" instead of naming each child specifically, can create disputes, particularly in blended families or where children were born at different times. One additional concept worth understanding is the irrevocable beneficiary designation. If you name someone as an irrevocable beneficiary, which can happen by designation or by operation of law in certain circumstances, such as naming a spouse in some provinces, you cannot change the beneficiary, borrow against the policy, or surrender it without that person's written consent. This provides the beneficiary with strong protection, but it removes your flexibility as the policy owner. Understand what you are agreeing to before making a designation irrevocable. When did you last review the beneficiary designations on all of your insurance policies, including group benefits at work? If the answer is more than 2 years ago, or if you've had any major life changes since you set them, it's time for a review. This is one of the simplest things to fix and one of the most expensive to get wrong. Reach out and we can go through it together. If this gave you something useful to think about, share it with someone who is navigating the same questions. And if you want to sit down and work through your own plan, reach out via the link below. Thanks for watching.